but it is interesting to see like who are they at their heart. And I think Cenk, and I say this, he's probably going to see this because Hank's going to clip it. It's going to be a whole thing.
Shout out to Hank.
I say this with like also some care. Cenk is
the Vanguard will be there, sir.
Yeah, so shout out to Olay. She had us back on Olay and Chill. Everyone check out the full conversation. I'm sure you can find that. It's called Why Cenk Uygur Fired Francesca live on TYT and banned her from the network. We had the opportunity of joining this conversation with Olay and Francesca, obviously two good friends of the show, and got a little bit spicy. Francesca took the opportunity to spill even a little bit more tea, and shared some details about Cenk specifically that I found to be downright hilarious.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think that's good. I think it's due diligence.
It is good. Yeah.
I think it's due diligence to do pop culture. It's fine. Yeah, okay.
Just a little context right there. I also think it's good to do pop culture. Gavin and I just had a little good pop culture back and forth right here. I was just talking about how Cenk likes to pretend that they've been doing progressive media for a long time, and much of the early work that TYT was doing was not so much dedicated to the progressive cause.
Some of the some of the stuff could be maybe salacious and misogynistic, whatever. But I'm not gonna ream them over that.
Sure.
But it is interesting to see who are they at their heart. And I think Cenk, and I say this, he's probably gonna see this because Hank's gonna clip it. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Shout out to Hank.
I say this with also some care. Cenk is fairly delusional, and I just want to make sure everyone kind of knows that. And just another story that I have, because again, anyone who's built what he's built, I have some admiration for. Anyone who, recently, one of the last private conversations we had was about going on Piers Morgan. I had a bad performance once and I was like, man, should I keep going on this? He was like, yes, you got to do it. So, we've had conversations that have been cordial. I respect the guy. And when I didn't respect him, I made sure, guys, I never tweeted at him. I never made videos about him. I never said shit about shit until I said, come on my show, we'll have it out. And then from there, yes, I clipped up that video. Yes, I then made a short video that kind of mocked how he was wrong.
You said his brain was broken? Come on.
Yes, I did say his brain was broken, offensive. But I do think, look, my brain was broken after the 2024 election, but I'm not to the point where I'm going right. But one of the times that he was running for Congress, second time he ran for Congress, was... No, yeah, whatever.
I think he only ran for Congress once. The second time it was for president.
The time he ran for Congress when the impeachment was going on.
Oh, Christy Smith, yeah.
So he was literally said to me with a straight face, he goes, can you imagine? I win and they ask me to present the articles of impeachment to Donald Trump. Yeah, that's gonna just can you imagine that? And I was just uh-huh. Wow, yeah, like a child, I'm saying, dude really thought he was not only going to win the election, but in his you got to go into Congress and you got to just crush everybody and make no friends and go in there and you got to fight. And I hate AOC and how dare you straight deals and how dare you. His whole attitude about how you're supposed to be in Congress is basically make no friends, get nothing done.
Yeah. And Francesca coming for my strap in the Cenk Uygur impersonation department. But that whole, the diatribe interaction that she had with Cenk right there, people used to break my balls at afterward all the time and say that I was a real life Michael Scott to work with, but that's the most Michael Scott shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
People would say that about you?
Yeah, afterward.
Wow, that doesn't speak. Anyway, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, no, it was mostly a joke, but
I'm just he's the worst boss.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, no, trust me. I was mostly trying to be self-deprecating, but. That is the most Michael Scott shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, and also just the fact that he actually thought that he would win. I mean, that's the crazy thing, right? The fact that he actually thought he would win that congressional election. Look at the results, guys. I think he came in with 4-5% of the vote ultimately. A complete humiliation, a total humiliation. And unlike every other candidate in that race, regardless of their politics or what they stood for, none of them had an online following. None of them had a YouTube channel with 5 million subscribers or, Cenk loves to brag about, I was the first YouTuber, the biggest, longest running online news show. Well, apparently that amounts to absolutely nothing when you actually try to run for Congress. So yeah, pretty hilarious stuff. And yeah, imagine if Cenk had delivered the articles of impeachment. I mean, honestly, that might have been better for the Democrats because whoever the fuck they got to do it didn't have very much riz. Cenk at least would have come in there like, we're going to take this fucker down, like with that Keith Olbermann energy, you know?
Dude, yes. And speaking of Keith Olbermann has been making his way back into the news a lot recently. He clobbered the fuck out of Bill Maher this weekend. But yeah, I think it's also crazy that after performing so poorly, right? What did he get? 6% in the congressional race. Obviously, none of this goes down. Like, what in Cenk's mind inspired him to then launch the presidential bid? It's just absolutely fucking crazy.
I think I know his book coming out.
Yeah,
the same exact week that he announced it.
Yeah.
They were going to be like,
but at least he was passionate about that. Like, I don't even sense that level of energy or excitement.
No, but if it's but no, because make sure you know that when he's talking about anyone on the left,
yes,
he has so much passion and anger. What I'm saying is like
bitterness.
They were going to be like, oh yeah, you should definitely present the articles of impeachment, Mr. Uygur, now that you've won your like.
And you can probably pause it. That was the main thing that I thought was worth reacting to. And of course, she's totally right. That passion does still exist, but for whatever reason, it's only directed towards people like Olay, Francesca, Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, obviously occasionally, Silly and Billy. But yeah, like what the fuck? What the fuck? Where did that go? And, even if he was totally delusional, I do think there was something that was kind of infectious about Cenk's like childlike energy or excitement back in that time period. I remember, he convinced me that he had a chance of winning that congressional election. I never donated any money at the time, but I was like, fuck, he might actually do this. He might actually win this. It was the Bernie era. So he was, kind of coasting on that energy. Christy Smith seemed like such a miserable, forgettable kind of Democratic politician. It seemed like it was a possibility, right? But yeah, no, of course it never was. However, what's no longer present is that energy, excitement, enthusiasm that, made Cenk a compelling commentator in the first place in that period, the kind of commentator that could even launch a congressional campaign. Because trust me, guys, when he launched his presidential campaign, even though it was for the presidency, not the Congress, there was like way less excitement from the TYT audience, from the TYT community, from YouTube in general. Like most people kind of just saw it for what it was, which was a joke. When he ran for Congress, people actually were like, oh shit, this is actually going to happen. This is really something real.
Yeah, didn't he kind of half announce on breaking points, and Crystal Ball thought he was almost joking, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" We
were the first channel to cover it.
Yeah, it is crazy. I guess to be fair to Cenk, Gavin, he did have a lot more of a media presence in his first congressional run. Do you think he would have been able to pull it off if he'd run in a more progressive friendly district? To be fair to Cenk, Orange County is not necessarily an easily winnable progressive California district.
I would say yes, that he would have done better. I don't know if he would have won. I do think he would have done better. Also, the district that he was running in, he literally moved there to run in it. So he was kind of carpetbagging, which I ultimately think hurt him as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess, and we don't need to relive this, but it does seem weird. It was Orange County. So I'm if you're going to carpetbag and move somewhere to run, theoretically,
it's because there was an open seat there. Someone was retiring, or someone had got, someone had died. I forget. It was something like that where there was an open seat and he saw it. He was like, fuck, I'm going to literally buy a house in this district so I can run there.
That's bold. You got to give it to Cenk. That's a man that pulls the trigger.
It would be like if someone up, like a congressperson up north died, North Kansas City, still close. We know the area. It's not like we have no relation to it, but say someone died up there and then we're like, hey, I could buy a house up in Gladstone or whatever and declare for Congress. That's basically what Cenk did. So it's not like the end of the world, but I do imagine that most people within that district were like, yeah, let's actually vote in someone who's an established politician from this area, which I think Christy Smith was.
Yeah, and then she ended up ultimately losing, right? She lost to the Republican guy.
Yeah,
so
she lost her re-election.
Humiliating all around.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. be